There's been so many times where women say to me, it's like, oh, I told him I want a divorce, but hoping he'd come back for me, but he let me pack my bags. So sometimes they file for divorce or take it that far as a way of testing their partner. And if they're with quite a healthy partner, they'll think you mean it.
So many women try to...
I like when she said this.
Sometimes they file for divorce or take it that far as a way of testing their partner. And if they're with quite a healthy partner, they'll think you mean it.
The easiest way to lose a confident man who knows himself is to use this type of strategy. It only works with guys who aren't sure about themselves or are dependent on their spouse. Don't try it with a mature and secure guy because you are going to lose him.
test their men constantly.
It's an evolutionary thing because here's the reality. Childbirth is potentially fatal. So to put that risk onto a relationship, he better be able to endure all types of storms.
Yeah.
So we have to test them. So we have to, unfortunately, test them. We have to test, are they going to be faithful, financially stable, have their own boundaries? Now, the problem is, unfortunately for men, when we push you and you succumb to us, you automatically lose us. What we're saying when we're pushing you is really make sure you don't give in to this, because if you do, then I know you're not strong enough.
Oh my God, give me an example.
It might be something like I push a man to say, I'm going to come home when I want. I'm going to come on girls' trips. I'm going to do whatever I want. And then when you actually give in and say, okay, essentially she feels like she's not being protected. So she feels like nobody's governing her.
You don't have a spine.
You're not responsible. Or she might say, I'm talking to my ex-boyfriend, and you say, I don't feel comfortable with that. She'll be like, no, you have to, I have to. Fine, he accepts it. Essentially, she's saying that you don't mind if I have an affair. Bye. Essentially, what we're begging for is sometimes is the boundary. We're not looking for you to bow down. So hard for men to figure that out.
Right,
though.
right.
I feel so bad
So
for men.
funny.
It's like reverse psychology all the time, unfortunately.
So after I gave him the ultimatum, he just looked at me in my face and was like, if you feel like you need to move, move. And so we went through 3 months of like chicken, where I had no friends in Vegas, no family in Vegas. I just really blurted that out. I did not mean it. I had no intention. I had no job. I had nothing. I had no plans on moving to Vegas. I thought I was going to force this man to propose to me.
But who told you it's a good idea to put a mature man against the wall? Why would you want to go this far to get him to marry you? Even if you went on with it, would it be worth it? This is the worst strategy to get a man to marry you. It will never work with a man who knows himself.
For 3 months, he was like, do what you got to do. You want to move, move. So the last day I was putting my stuff in the car, he came over and helped me put my stuff in the car, and we putting stuff in the trunk, and I just started crying. I'm like, you really gonna let me leave? He looked at me and he said, have a safe trip.
Red bean. Like I was saying, I think we should just stay friends, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm not ready for a relationship. Like, you know, I'm just not ready for all that right now, you know what I'm saying? Like, real talk. Damn. Crispy chicken. You say you cooked there? You did there? Cornbread. Cornbread. Cornbread too? This ain't Jip, this from scratch? Lord, shit. And you cook this like this all year round. It stays the same taste like this all year round. Well, I don't know, baby, look. You mind if I take my Air Max off? Look, check this out. I'm gonna take my Air Max off for a couple of years, because I've been thinking, since I've been sitting here eating on this, that you might be right. We might do need to get in a relationship, because real talk, I've been hungry lately, and these women I've been dealing with, they, you know, this is the taste I've been looking for. So, you want to get married tomorrow? You want to get married tomorrow? Because yeah, that look like that's what's finna happen. I don't want to be single no more. I'm going to go ahead and we're going to go and get married tomorrow. And I'm going to bring my little TV and my little VCR that I got, my 4 pair of boxes that I got at the crib with mom, and bring them on over here with you, because look like this is my home. Look like I got a phone to have home.
Listen to this.
This is the taste I've been looking for. So, you want to get married tomorrow?
Ultimatums in relationships? They're a surefire way to turn a decent partnership into a dumpster fire, especially when aimed at mature men. Essentially, an ultimatum is just a fancy way of saying, do what I want or else, and it's a recipe for disaster. Mature men, who actually value respect and open communication, see ultimatums for what they are: manipulative and controlling power plays. Women who toss around ultimatums in relationships are practically guaranteeing a one-way ticket to the street. If you think you can bully a mature man into compliance with threats and demands, you're sorely mistaken. Ultimatums aren't just a bad idea, they're a relationship killer. Mature men don't just tolerate being manipulated, they leave. They're looking for partners who respect their autonomy and are interested in real, open dialogue. When you start issuing ultimatums, you're not only displaying a lack of respect for them, but also for the relationship itself. The result? You're more likely to end up with a "for sale" sign on your door. These guys, who've been around the block and know the difference between genuine partnership and cheap theatrics, aren't going to take kindly to being cornered. They value their autonomy and are looking for relationships built on mutual trust, not petty threats. When you throw an ultimatum their way, you're not sparking productive conversation, you're shutting it down. It's like trying to negotiate with a brick wall. And let's not kid ourselves. Mature individuals aren't into conflict through coercion. They prefer hashing things out like adults, not being given ultimatums that make them feel like they're being held hostage. If you issue an ultimatum, you're basically saying, your feelings don't matter. And that's a quick way to kill any sense of emotional intimacy. The ultimate kicker? Issuing an ultimatum can backfire spectacularly by eroding respect in the relationship. Respect isn't a one-way street. If you disrespect your partner's autonomy and perspectives, don't be surprised when that respect flies right out the window. Mature men will lose respect for you and view you as domineering and unreasonable. So if you're thinking about throwing down an ultimatum, be prepared to watch your relationship crumble.
I don't want to go to your house. He's like, oh, okay, then I'm gonna drop you back home. And I'm like, what? I cannot believe at this point in my life, I'm like, okay. So then like I had something, okay, at 10 p.m. So then I told him like, oh, can you at least drop me where I'm going? Like, so then I will stay there. He's like, I'm not gonna drive all the way there. You know what I told him via text? I told him like, look, the last thing you will hear from me is that you deserve the people that you're with. Like you deserve the woman that you're with, because we're talking about a man that he doesn't know what it's like to do effort for a woman. He's like, let's go buy a pack of donuts and we will go to my house. Why? For what? Why would I go to your house? Even if it's not the first time I see you, why would I do that? Guys, can you imagine the shock? So he dropped me back home, okay? And I'm like, okay, thank you for the tour. You gave me a tour in the city. Loved it.
There's been some great work on what behavioral markers predict divorce in couples counseling. Really solid work. Okay, so here's one predictor. When the couple is talking in front of a therapist and one of them or the other or both roll their eyes, there's like a 95% chance they're going to be divorced within 6 months. And that's contempt, eh? But here's another cool fact from that research. If you have people track the number of positive and negative interactions with their partner, you can calculate ratios, and then you can see what the ratio is that lends itself to the successful maintenance of a relationship. And so you might think, well, the more positive interactions, the better. And that's kind of true. So if it falls below 5 positive to 1 negative, the relationship is in danger.
Yeah.
But if it rises above 11 to 1, the relationship is also in danger. Well, you want support and love, and you want most of your interactions to be positive, but you want your partner to slap you now and then when you're being stupid.
What is a time where you felt that you failed that you learned a valuable lesson from?
That's such a hard question. Getting divorced was a big lesson.
Okay.
Yeah.
How come? What happened?
For a long time, like in your 20s and 30s, like getting married was a big goal, and I got married. And then I realized that that's not everything. Mm-hmm. And what I learned through being married was that knowing who you are, knowing your values, and knowing your non-negotiables is so much more important than anything else. Mm. It could be more important than the person that you love. And that was a huge lesson for me.
So do you think you didn't know yourself before getting married?
I think I didn't really know how important my values were to me before I got married.
What is true love like, in your opinion?
When I find out, I'll let you know.
Why did it not work, if you don't mind me asking?
Because I wanted to work so much that I was willing to overlook aspects of him and myself that didn't align with my true values. And that's why it didn't work.
Many men are lucky to catch glaring warning signs before tying the knot, spotting their future wife's demanding behavior or tantrums early on. Seeing these red flags, they smartly decide to call off the wedding, sometimes even at the last minute. To me, these men are real heroes. By noticing these early warning signs, they save themselves from jumping into potentially disastrous and unhappy marriages. This tough decision shows genuine self-awareness and foresight. It spares both partners from future misery and the mess of a divorce. Postponing a wedding at the 11th hour might seem extreme, but it's often a bold move toward long-term happiness and sanity. It takes guts to admit that a relationship isn't right, especially with all the societal and family pressure to go through with it. These men prioritize their future well-being and emotional health, proving they are making the most responsible choices for their lives. And that's it for today on Sigma Traits. Make sure you hit that like button, smash that subscribe button, and don't forget to ring that notification bell. Support this channel through membership. You can also support through PayPal link in the description. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. See you all tomorrow.